You ready to go adventuring?
Yes, indeed, Matt. I've got my weapons, got my pack, I've got clothes, I got food. What more could you ask for?
What more? Indeed.
That's how we roll. 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 That's how we roll.
Welcome to the Goblin's Corner. My name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight,
We're talking about Enchanted Essentials.
that's right, delightful magic items that are ordinary objects that you can take into a dungeon, for example.
Yeah.
Or,
Out camping.
Yeah, you can take it on an adventure.
Yeah.
And so we're going to bring you 6 awesome ones that we've created with a little bit of quirks and lore and all that other stuff.
Sure. Like we do.
Like we do. But before we get to all of that, if you haven't yet, hit the like and subscribe button. Help us get our show out to more people and get notified when more amazing episodes come your way. And I'm going to point at the camera until you do.
Just every episode from here on out.
I'm pointing, yes.
At least you're not double finger gunning. That's too far.
Well, I'm not a terrible person. No one should ever do that.
If you're listening to the show, though, give us a review on iTunes or Podchaser or literally anywhere else you listen to it. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
So, why are we talking Enchanted Essentials, Matt?
Well, these are items that every dungeon explorer possesses. Why not upgrade them?
That's right. We're not talking stuff like an enchanted sword that sings to you and dances across the field. We're literally talking about stuff like rope.
Yeah.
Like enchanted rope.
Sure.
Stuff that if you were going to dive into a dungeon, you'd actually want all the time.
And to me, that's essential, right? That's the whole concept of the word is like things that you are always going to have.
Yes.
And now we're just making those things better.
This is an easy way to add something unique to your game without it being overpowered. And in fact, I dare say none of the objects today, we've got 6 of them, are overpowered at all. In
I
fact,
don't think so.
I don't even think they're slightly powered in some cases.
Yes, some of them just do what they do on the tin a little bit better than average.
Yeah, it's because magic exists, right?
Sure.
Speaking of which,
They build your game world. That's the whole purpose of doing magic items that aren't escalating the power level in your game. It's building flavor into your game world.
yeah, they give you some nice mad flavor, which we're all about because we're all about storytelling and we're all about building your world. And of course, as Matt mentioned earlier, magic exists.
Yeah.
And because magic exists, let's face it, someone's going to do this. Look, someone's going to make a magical flashlight. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's going to make a magical Geiger counter.
Sure.
Or, I dare say, a magical coffee pot that brews you delicious coffee. Why wouldn't you?
I think Strixhaven finally fixed that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They've got the coffee cup that never ends. And that's really that's the Matt answer.
I'm happy now. That's my answer. So, as we do with every magical item set we have a couple general rules. You don't have to follow any of these, but we like to say them anyway. First off, these should all be story options, not MacGuffins, right?
Yeah.
These items are mostly intended for fun. None of these are overpowered. As we mentioned, they're not going to break your game. They shouldn't break your story. Think about how you use these in your campaign. Feel free to change them to whatever flavor you have.
Sure. I also like the idea that these could be additional rewards for quest, right? Like, let's say they did an exceptional job finding somebody's granddaughter, getting her home safe, and they did it in day 1, right?
Mhm.
They were just like, oh, this is the thing. It's important. Knock it out. Okay. Well, since you did such a great job, here's an additional piece of loot. Because it's not overpowered, but it is magical, that adds flavor both in and out of game, right? Like, it has a mechanical value,
Yeah.
which is great, but also now you have set the precedent for your players that doing things better
Get you more stuff.
provides you better results.
So a good example of that, and we didn't actually put this into our show, but a broom that casts prestidigitation.
Sure.
Like the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Disney. Like, it just runs around and just like, it's basically the magical version of a Roomba.
Oh, see, I was thinking of like a whisk broom, so that like you come into town after you've been adventuring and you do the just the little double brush and it cleans you completely off.
Oh, well, that's nice too, right?
Like a butler's broom.
A little butler. Yeah, just kind of dust your dusty shoulder. Yeah, I was thinking more of like the actual
like
broom.
an actual broom.
Yeah, it just wanders through the room of your house cleaning. Wouldn't that be great?
Sure.
Magic exists, you would totally have that. I would have that. I'd never have to clean.
If your players have a hideout, they need one of these because they're gone for long terms, right? They're gone for a while. Wouldn't it be nice to come back to a place that's already clean?
Yeah. So again, story options, not MacGuffins. Next up, we've got what, Matt?
These can be used for story hooks where appropriate.
Yes.
Lore always makes things far more interesting, both for you and for your players. For example, a lighter that is owned by a farmer. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, he's got a lighter.
Sure.
He's going to light up a big fat stogie.
Now, a lighter that's owned by a farmer who happens to be a dragon.
That's even better.
Now, that's a curious thing indeed.
He's going to light up a guy named Stogie and smoke him.
Truly possible.
He rolls up a bunch of people and just starts smoking them.
Yep.
The scent of meat fills the farm.
Yeah.
He sits out on his titanic porch composed of the skulls of his fallen victims.
Yeah. It's just...
That'd be an awesome farm.
He's got a bong made out of a paladin suit of armor.
Absolutely. That he drowned earlier. Yeah. Has to. Yeah, so that's good times. Again, these are everyday objects. All of them contain some sort of distinctive descriptor, and they should. Even everyday objects should kind of be descriptive. It just adds a little bit more to your game and to your story.
Sure.
Give them a quirk. We like quirks.
Things should have personality even if they don't have sentient personalities.
Yes, we consider quirks essential in every game we play.
They're just more fun. There should be a reason behind providing these objects to players. I mean, obviously, it's magic.
Yes,
so giving it to them because it's magic.
Because magic.
But also provide some reasoning behind who is giving it to them.
Yep. And finally, where appropriate, it should be amusing.
Maybe that animated broom they meet out in the wild.
Oh.
And it's just steady cleaning something that doesn't even exist.
It's cleaning in ancient ruins, and it's totally spotless. And they think a gelatinous cube has eaten everything, but no.
Nope.
It's just the Roomba.
It's just this broom. Just
the Broomba.
brooming along.
It's a Broomba.
Sure.
I love that. I'm making that now. It's called a Broomba. I've copyrighted it. Don't steal it from me. It's great.
I won't.
Now, this has been a tandem episode, Matt, which is unusual in how we generally write stuff. Usually I come up with an idea, you come up with an idea, we mash everything together.
Right.
But this time, you actually came up with, I believe, almost all of the items.
I came up with the mechanic side of things, and then you came behind me and did the lore side of things, which is basically not at all how we normally do things.
That's what we call teamwork, my friends.
Yeah, it's just the way things went down this go.
Yes, indeed. And the first magical object is one which happens to be an everyday torch. So, Matt, tell us about the Everbright Adventurer's Torch.
This unlit torch appears to be visually indistinguishable from any other common torch.
So it looks like a torch.
Yep. Only the slight warmth from its touch suggests its latent magic beneath.
Nice. Yeah. It's a typical torch.
Yep.
It's got a little cap on it, which I believe you'll note later.
I will.
And it's got some powers.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Is it earth-shaking?
I don't think so. I don't feel like.
I found one use that is earth-shaking in this, but that's just because we can abuse things. Tell us the powers of this torch.
The Everbright torch has the following abilities. It is a club +1 with an additional 1d4 fire damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a torch.
It's a stick that's on fire.
Yeah.
It can be lit like a normal torch. However, once lit, it does not go out even underwater.
Okay, that's really cool.
It is a torch what torches.
And it never runs out of fuel, I'm assuming?
Nope. It burns brighter than expected. It has full light out to 60 feet. But it has no dim light radius.
Interesting.
It is just full light. So a normal torch is 30 foot and 30 foot.
Yeah.
This is just 60 foot curtain of darkness.
So like the movie torches.
Yes. Almost exactly like that's what I had in mind.
And if anybody's interested, go watch The Mummy again and watch when they have the torch. It's literally right outside of the torch light.
It's darkness.
It's black. Yeah, it's just the darkest darkness you've ever seen. There's no dim light or anything.
Yep.
That's cool.
And that was, so movie torches is basically what I had in mind when I came up with this. FYI, this means that you will in fact have eternal fire at will.
So you can't extinguish it at all.
You can, but only via the cap.
Oh, so if you lose the cap, you're kind of out of luck.
I would not lose the cap.
Yeah.
That would be suboptimal.
I'm thinking a song Eternal Flame in my heads. Cool. So what's the quirk, Matt?
It always leaves a small amount of soot on your hands, even when it's unlit.
It's a dirty-ass torch.
If you've ever handled anything like juggler's torches, you cannot get away from the situation without getting soot on you. It just can't be done.
I love that. That's what a great, just tiny quirk, right? Nothing world-shaking, nothing crazy.
It's just, if you've touched it, you're going to have soot on you.
Yes. The lore is a delight. Please read the lore off.
All right. Valdastrian the Chilly was said to have originally created this enchanted essential, and since his death in the Arctic, many duplicates have been passed to adventurers' hands.
Yes, indeed. I just like the idea of a guy who made a torch named Valdastrian the Chilly.
For a second, when you first said the Chilly, I thought you were going to go with William the Chilly.
Oh.
So it could be Chilly
Willy. The penguin?
Mm-hmm.
He would be a penguin adventurer.
A Dowar.
Oh, I love that even more. And you have the name for it, too. Good for you. I had no idea what it was called.
Yep. They're from Spelljammer.
Oh, yeah.
The little penguin merchants.
Yeah, that's great.
So you're going to hit us with the next essential item. Tell us about the ever-handy survival knife.
All right. So the description is as follows. This well-worn but durable survival knife sports a wicked blade, razor-sharp on one side, equally razor-sharp but serrated on the other.
Okay.
It's a survival knife, right?
Sure.
A thick guard and a rather heavy pommel. Etched in the corner near the guard is the word Murdoch with a line through it.
Okay.
And if you haven't guessed what kind of survival knife it is, you will soon.
All right. What are the powers of this thing?
Well, it's a knife.
Mhm.
So it should get some basic bonus. It's a knife +1.
Sure.
So I can now do some damage to, incorporeal creatures.
Right.
On a survival check, any roll of 9 or under is counted as a 10.
Okay.
You should be able to survive with a survival knife.
Sure.
If you can't survive with the survival knife, you have failed the purpose of having a survival knife.
It shouldn't have been given to you in the first place.
Never have been given to you. It does have a hollow handle, and it contains an explorer's pack. Yeah, the explorer's pack,
Sure.
which can be retrieved in one round, but require 5 minutes to replace because you have to shove all that back into the pommel.
If you've ever unpacked one of the old school survival knives, you get it.
Yeah. Everything just pops out, and it's 10 times larger. The pommel also acts as a compass. It's a survival knife. And a red bandana or scarf is always with the knife. Comes handy.
Sure.
So if nothing's in it and you pull it out, it's still got a red bandana or scarf. You should be able to tie a red bandana or scarf around you.
Absolutely. Either around a bicep or around your head.
I'm looking for you, Murdoch. Murdoch.
And that's the quirk, right?
Yeah, your voice gets lower when you talk. So if you're holding it, your voice gets a little bit lower, at least 1 octave.
All right, tell us about the lore of this thing.
This knife was devised by the legendary ranger and combat specialist Rambo, who had a habit of being deep behind enemy lines and duking it out with the local constables. Often finding himself without any equipment aside from his trusty knife, he created this magic blade to assist in whatever misfortune of war happened.
And there you have it.
There you go.
If you can't picture this knife, go watch Rambo.
Yes.
First Blood.
If you have no idea what we're talking about because you're not a child of the 80s or 90s, go back and watch was it an 80s movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Go back
Certainly
and watch.
the first one was.
Yeah, go back and watch First Blood. It's good.
I mean, good might be pushing it. But
Hey, look, go back and just watch it. How about that?
There you
Does that sound better? Next up, we have another Enchanted Essential, and this time we've got a walking stick.
Yep. The Wanderer's Walking Stick.
Awesome. So tell me about the Wanderer's walking stick.
This solid, but surprisingly lightweight walking stick has seen its share of open road, judging by the scuffs and dirt which adorn the wood. The top features a small hole to place your favorite topper, like a skull or a horse head.
Monocle or something like that.
Right, anything like that. Or it could be a place to put a bindle in, where you run the bandana through and you put all your stuff on it.
You're just full of $5 words today, Matt.
I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Along with a flat, smooth button.
So it's got a button on it, too.
It does.
Okay, cool. So it's got a place to put an adornment and a button.
Yes.
Love it. All right. What are the powers of the Wanderer's walking stick?
Firstly, you get advantage against saves, against exhaustion.
Again, if I have a walking stick, I shouldn't be exhausted walking.
Right. I mean, that's part of the purpose, right? Is to ease your travel.
I love that.
Now, upon pressing the button, it turns into a 15-foot ladder or a 10-foot pole.
Nice.
Now, the 10-foot pole gives you advantage on jumping checks
Mhm.
because you basically, use it like a pole vaulter.
And the ladder is a ladder.
It's very much ladder-esque.
15-foot ladder so I can maybe walk across it like a bridge.
Sure.
Or I can climb something up. Or a 10-foot pole I can poke things with. Test the water
Yes.
and not die. I mean, you poke that pond in the Underdark, anything could leap out.
It's true. You poke every treasure chest you come across just in case.
Kuotoa with the surfboard. He comes out, beats you to death with it, just surfs off into the distance. Cowabunga, dude.
Sure, man. It's a Kuotoa. Anything could happen.
He's a Kuotoa, man.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, don't judge him. She's got a radical shirt on.
All right. I believe
He's got
you.
some 80s glasses.
And a Speedo.
Oh, he's got a Speedo? Yeah, of course.
A bright red Speedo.
Kuotoa
naturally.
don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's freeballing it. All right, so what else can you do with this thing?
Additionally, the stick is hollow and can be used both as a snorkel or any other hollow tube device, such as a blowgun.
Oh, very handy.
Indeed.
Because it's a normal size walking stick, so you just...
Yep.
Yeah. Shoot down some rabbits. Or put a little poison in it, maybe do a little assassin work.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Pack that thing full of poison dust and just a cloud of poison
Or
dust.
dust of dryness.
Yes.
You really want to kill the water elemental? That's a water elemental flamethrower.
Or you take the pellets and you
blow
use it
them
to kill a
because
fire elemental.
Yeah, because it's like, 10-foot cube
Yes.
of water?
Yep.
So you put the dust of dryness, the compressed pellet, into this hollow tube, and you...
Yep.
And it flies through the air into a room. You close the door, and now you've killed everybody in the room because 10 cubic feet of water has suddenly just appeared and crushed everyone to death.
Sure.
Insta-kill.
Yep.
To the monster in the mouth.
The other thing is, it's great for fire elementals.
Yeah, it instantly puts them out. Yeah, that is the fireball for fire elementals.
Indeed.
Yeah, I love that. Cool. We got a quirk with this walking stick.
A gentle breeze rolls across you when you hold the stick.
How very nice.
Yeah. It's just pleasant.
A pleasant breeze. And it doesn't say it's a cooling breeze or a warming breeze, just a breeze,
It's
right?
just a breeze.
Yeah. No stats needed to gauge this.
Nope. I would even go as far as to say it's a pleasant breeze in that if it's cold, it's a little warm. Right? It's a little bit of a warm breeze. If it's hot out, it's a little bit of a cool breeze.
Doesn't numerically
no mechanical
help.
value.
Yeah.
Just it's nice.
I agree as well. Cool. What's the lore behind this Wanderer's walking stick?
Now, many attribute the god Shandakul or Farlagan or any other travel deity with the invention of the Wanderer's walking stick. But actually, the first one was created by a halfling cleric with a sense of adventure and a need for a sturdy traveling stick.
Yeah. I love that. He just wanted to go for a walk, right?
Yeah.
Needed a good stick, went ahead and made a Wanderer's walking stick, and the knowledge was passed down to other people.
Yep. Doesn't even have to be for a traveling god.
Yeah, it could be for any god, really. Could be for a god of assassins that happens to kill fire elementals.
Sure. That would be hilarious if the actual background behind this is super dark, but it's just a pleasant little item.
This delightful little walking stick actually has resulted in the death of countless individuals. They call him the Drowner. He walks into a room, blowguns a pellet,
Yep.
closes the door. Everyone's instantly dead. Puts a pellet in their drink. Now, speaking of other Enchanted Essentials, this week we have what, Matt?
We've got the question of the week.
All right. So what's the question of the week this week?
In my benevolence,
Mm-hmm.
before I kick you through the portal to another world, I'm going to allow you one non-essential item, which works as intended, but it can only have one function, right? You can't take a cell phone that can be used to play games, surf the web, make phone calls, text. The object can only have one function.
So for an object from our world.
From our world.
Okay.
It will work, but it can only have one function.
Okay.
What you got?
That's an interesting question. All right. So it's an object from our world,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously stuff like axes and all that other stuff, that automatically works. So I'm assuming something like a technology item.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to say a boombox.
Okay, nice.
Even better, an MP3 player. Because I got to have my jams, man. If I'm getting kicked off into another world, I have to teach somebody what rock and roll is. Just like, going back to the 80s movies, right? You always play the music and they're like, rock and roll. What's rock and roll?
So for those of you watching, you need to know that most of the time, Eric does not get to see the questions of the week until I literally say them to him on the episode. We have exactly the same answer for this particular question.
Really?
Because mine was a boombox.
Nice.
Because I can't live without music. I'll murder somebody.
I agree. But it would have to be an MP3 player, right? We'd have to have our collection of tunes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what else would you need, really? I've got my jams.
I can make other stuff work.
Yeah, I can light on fire, but I can't play my 90s hip hop, right?
Sure.
Of course, we're always interested in the answer that you have for the question of the week. And if you're interested, hit us up at Goblin's Corner on Twitter, or you can reach us on all the other social media dumpster fires that
exist. All of them.
Yeah. More and more every day. Now let's get back to some Enchanted Essentials.
For our next Enchanted Essential, we've got the Grappling Hook Gremlin.
Yes.
All right.
Typical grappling hook.
Sure.
And in fact, the description is as follows. This slightly tarnished iron grappling hook is artistically styled to look like a small gremlin, with all the limbs acting as the hooks. Yeah, it's a grappling hook, but it looks like a gremlin, right?
Sure.
The face of the gremlin is especially detailed, and the eyes strangely follow you wherever you move.
That's just good carving.
Yeah, good detail work.
Yeah. What are the powers on this grappling hook?
Well, it's an animated grappling hook for one. So, as you might have guessed, the grappling hook actually is a construct that scrambles up a wall or, places itself in a crevice or whatnot.
Sure.
Gets a tree, and the hook just happens to look like a gremlin. So you can attach whatever you want to the actual grappling hook, but it's only the grappling hook that's magical.
Right.
So it climbs up, kind of latches in, and gets a good hold in whatever you kind of toss it at.
Makes sense.
Obviously, you want to attach a rope or something to that.
Right. But it is a grappling hook which will always hook in.
Yes.
Like there's no failed throws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just...
You toss it at a wall, it's going to stick. Or it's going to attach itself and climb someplace where it can get a better hold.
Sure.
Interestingly enough, it also allows the following ability for the rope that is attached. You can spider climb up the rope when you attach it to the grappling hook gremlin, which is very useful for people who can't climb.
Sure.
And essential in a dungeon for people who can't climb. Like,
or
say,
people who are at disadvantage to climbing because of heavy armor or
like
something.
The paladin who's going to drown lately. You can pull him out. He's got a grappling hook gremlin. He tosses it before he drowns in the lake.
Sure.
There you go. Attaches itself to the barbarian, and the barbarian just pulls him out, right? Additionally, and this is a fun part, enemies have disadvantage on climb checks if they're using the rope. So if you're escaping from the goblins and you're halfway up the rope and the goblin tries to climb the rope as well, it's now magically slick for the goblin.
Nice.
So it only works for you.
I love it.
Yes.
It is a grappling hook that is on your side.
Every time.
What is the quirk of this thing?
You always have one extra foot of rope when you need it most.
Sure.
That's it. Only one extra foot.
Right.
But sometimes you need that extra foot.
What is the lore behind this grappling hook?
No one is sure who made the first grappling hook gremlin, but their use is fairly common throughout the realms. In your game, in other words.
Sure.
The ability to find the best crevices to sturdily attach to, combined with the ease of climbing whatever rope is connected, make these valuable essentials in any subterranean expedition. Again, if you could spider climb, it's useful.
Absolutely.
While this item is a non-intelligent device, it is a construct, and many superstitious explorers claim that the gremlin finds a better purchase if you treat it nicely during adventures.
Okay.
I think this is hilarious. While there's no actual evidence to support this, some stories continue to circulate among folk about accidental, quote-unquote, slips for those who have mistreated the creatures. Because if you're going to mistreat one of your tools in your toolbox,
yeah,
then you deserve to fall to whatever horrible death you get. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I like the idea that these are actually a form of gremlin that have, like gargoyles, right? Like they've adapted to this and like they feed off of scraps and stuff when everybody's asleep.
That is great. Like they're literally magical creatures instead of magical objects. I'd be down with that too.
I could go either. I like it as an item, but I also like it as a creature.
Maybe they eat magical resonance in a dungeon. So when you're on an adventure, they're always feeding.
Could be. What if this is like the pupae form
Of a gargoyle?
of a creature? Yeah.
They're baby gargoyles. They come out as grappling hook gremlins, and then they evolve, and then they perch and sit on top of buildings.
Yeah.
Think about that. That'd be kind of cool. What's the egg version of that? A caltrop.
Ball bearings.
Ball bearings. Speaking of ball bearings, you happen to have an Enchanted Essential ball bearing. So tell me what the Tenacious ball bearings are.
Absolutely. Now that you like that segue. That's,
Yes, it's a delightful segue, man.
normally I'm terrible at those, but this one was a freebie. The description is thus. This bag of slick steel ball bearings are well lubricated to the point of ridiculousness.
So it's really lubed.
Oh, yeah. Additionally, the mesh bag features a nicely illustrated bulldog's face, which can only be described as mean mugging it.
Yes, mean mugging it. The pissed off bulldog.
Yeah. Not like the dopey bulldog, the pissed off bulldog.
Yeah. All right, cool. What kind of powers does the Tenacious ball bearings have?
The owner may toss them to fill a 10-foot square radius, upon which they act as greasy ball bearings. They impose Dex check 15 each round to avoid falling and becoming prone, right? And you just,
So they're ball bearings.
sure.
Yeah, greasy ball bearings.
Yeah.
Slip around. I can't move.
Now, they're not just ball bearings, because otherwise they wouldn't be enchanted.
Correct.
When you use the command word sick 'em, they follow an individual you specify for 1 minute, continuously imposing the penalty of the dex check every round. This works whether or not you throw them. You can just open the bag and say, sick 'em.
And they just pour out of the bag
Yep.
and follow the guy. That's awesome. The mental idea of in combat, you see this warrior, badass, got some jet black armor. He's got the hellfire tattoos and stuff like that.
Sure.
He comes in, he's about ready to bust ass, and the wizard goes, sick 'em. And these ball bearings just kind of fly out of a bag and just surround a 10-foot square around the warrior. He's tripping and falling, tries to get away. He's running down the
Like
dungeon.
Three Stooging it.
Yeah. You just even better is he slips and falls down like a chute.
And
they
they
just
follow him
and they just keep
down.
going. They keep his speed going.
Yeah, because he can never slow down.
He reaches terminal velocity.
And hits the bottom. And luckily, most of what's left of him is contained by the armor, so they can still bury it.
Sure. How would you get these things back though?
Well, that's easy. You just say, good boy.
And they go back into the
And they
bag.
go back into the bag.
That's great. This is great. Again, not overpowered. It's just a typical device.
Yeah.
They just happen to follow things around.
Right.
What's the quirk of the Tenacious ball bearings?
Well, they are always lubricated and never dry out. If you've ever dealt with copier oil, you're supposed to use these minuscule little drops. And it is the most ridiculous grease you've ever seen. If you put a regular sized drop on the floor, it spreads out to like a grease spell.
Cool.
Much like that stuff. That's what this stuff is, what these ball bearings are covered in. They're just super fine grease. Like it's not like a bag full of grease. It's just the ball bearings
Really
are
slippery.
always grease.
Yeah, really slippery. Never dry out. That sounds great. What's the lore behind the Tenacious ball bearings, Matt?
The original Tenacious ball bearings were created by a Tabaxi rogue, Jacob Black, with a love of irony.
So you're talking Jack Black.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we did a double.
Yeah.
A double deep cut on that one. Love that.
Absolutely.
And that's the Tenacious ball bearings. How delightful. Again, lots of fun, thematically interesting, and could also provide some much needed comedy in a grimdark campaign.
Very much so. We've come to the final Enchanted Essential item. Tell me about the Unmess Kit.
All right. This is a fun one, I think. And this, honestly, I would say
I
would
like
be
all of them, but
I would say this is the most essential item
oh, okay.
because everyone needs a mess kit, first
Sure.
off. And this mess kit is very special. This slightly dented mess kit contains a small pot and frying pan, a plate, a cup, several utensils, all steel.
Okay.
It's a mess kit. Yeah. Cleverly made, this entire mess kit breaks down into the pot for easy carrying.
Okay.
Again, standard mess kit, right?
Tell us about the powers of this mess kit.
Okay. An unmess kit can do the following. First off, it requires no fire and can automatically heat any food put in the pan or pot.
Nice. Did
you see how useful this is?
Super useful in and of itself.
That just the fact that you don't need to start a fire when you're in a dungeon when you can't find wood or, a mushroom creature to burn.
Sure.
I mean, do you really want to burn that myconid? Additionally, the cup can either warm or chill whatever beverage is in it.
That's nice.
Yeah. So you always have a warm mug of coffee or a chill beverage. Upon command, food is seasoned in the pot or the pan, which is kind of as per the cantrip, right?
Sure.
If it's on a plate, it is garnished once. So if you want that lemon wedge, well, that's the only one you get. Or maybe you're suffering from scurvy and you need some parsley or something like that. You need some roughage.
Or the lemon wedge.
The lemon wedge also would help with the scurvy. Just do the lemon wedge is really what I'm saying.
Yeah. And unless you need roughage, then do the big kale leaf that for some reason they used to do all of the time.
Yeah. I would say any of that stuff would be fine. If food is kept in the pot or pan, it is preserved via gentle repose.
Nice.
Yeah. Again, simple spells, right?
Yeah.
But if you owned a mess kit in a magical universe, you would want that, right?
Yeah.
You don't want food to go bad.
The other thing is you can shrink your buddy. Use diminish object.
When the paladin dies, you shrink the body, you stick him in the pan.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I love that. That's a great idea. All the items are self-cleaning, which is,
also awesome.
Also awesome. Again, that's a cantrip again,
yep.
right? The pot creates 1 gallon of water once per day.
So you can make soup.
You can, in fact, make soup.
Or coffee.
Yep.
What about the utensils?
They're just utensils. They don't do.
All right.
they're just. They're steel utensils.
Sure. What is the quirk of this thing?
The fork isn't great.
Okay.
Even if you replace the fork still kind of sucks.
So it has like the one bent tine.
Yeah. It's a little. It's not real sharp. So when you stab food, it just kind of slides off. It's not a great fork.
And it's got like a slight twist to it.
Mm-hmm. Even if you put a perfect fork in there, it becomes a terrible fork.
Ugh.
It's a terrible quirk.
I mean, it's great, but it's awful.
But the rest of the stuff is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about this. Okay, I settle down for a camp. I create water. Bam. Starts cooking some soup. Toss some whatever I killed in there. Now maybe I'm frying something up.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody eats their fill, put the lid on it, and all of a sudden it's perfectly preserved for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Carry that bad boy around.
Yeah, just don't put your fork in it.
Yes.
Just keep a fork separate.
Mm-hmm.
And you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You're going to forget.
You're going to forget. It's going to mess up the. Yeah, it's going to have nothing to do with forks. That's how it works.
Every time you forget, you're just going to, screw this fork. We've got some spares, but you're always eventually going to forget.
The fork comes from the dimension of forks.
Yeah. Even if you've got spare forks, there's still always one fork in there.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, what's the lore behind this thing?
Now spread wherever fine magical items are sold, the original Unmess kit was created by the halfling bardic chef Nelvin the Shrew. Talk about a mouthful there. He was a bardic chef. That was his special ability.
Sure.
Performance cooking.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know me. He's Iron Chef.
Iron Chef, a legendary adventurer of culinary delights who died trying to eat a displacer beast. Tough way to go.
It is. So there's part of me that wonders
how did he actually cook it? Because it's always someplace else.
Well, okay. Did he die attempting to kill the displacer beast so that he could cook it, or did he overcook the tentacle and choke on the rubbery tentacle?
No one knows. He just died trying to eat it.
Yeah.
You can draw your own conclusions with that.
I have so many questions.
I mean,
I'm just curious.
With enough seasoning, anything tastes great.
Well, there's that.
So there you have it. 6 enchanted essentials for you to use in your dungeon for your players in whatever game you happen to be playing in. Lots of fun with this.
I love magic items that are useful but not necessarily powerful. I feel like it's just a way to add extra flavor to the game.
I completely agree. Any questions or comments? Hit us up at Goblin's Corner on Twitter. Did you enjoy this podcast? We hope so. Subscribe to it on your favorite player, YouTube, and Twitch.
Click the 5 stars, give us a review on iTunes and Podchaser, and on YouTube, hit the like, the subscribe button, the notification bell, do all of the things. It helps get our show in front of more people, and it feeds the hungry algorithm.
Which is currently a displaced beast with a missing tentacle and a very pissed off expression on its face.
Fair.
That's all the time we have for tonight. Once again, my name is Eric.
And I'm Matt.
We'll see you next time.
Good night, folks. In a world where the Goblin's Corner is by Matt Staples
And Eric Holden. Show song by the mighty D20.
this has been a Subterranean production.
Coming soon.